Just seeing the girl touch her ear for a split second was enough for him to decide she needed to be silenced for good. Turns out he suspected she was an undercover cop, so he tailed her all the way to the elevator, and the moment the doors slid open, he intentionally stepped in after her, then pulled out a knife, ready to strike. But right as the elevator doors were about to close, the girl's father showed up. Pretending to scold her on the surface while secretly removing her hidden earpiece. The man didn't want to reveal which floor he lived on, so he pressed the button for the first floor and checked her now bare ear with his peripheral vision. Only then did he put the knife away. But even so, he still wasn't letting his guard down because he'd never seen this father and daughter before. He needed to confirm with his own eyes that they actually lived here. Luckily, the veteran cop knew exactly what to expect. He knew the guy wouldn't go far, so he walked to a unit with packages piled at the door, handed a box to the girl to act as cover, then popped the lock open with a special tool in seconds. That finally put the man's doubts to rest, and he turned around and walked away. He took one quick glance at the surveillance footage and instantly recognized the disguised suspect, even pinpointing the criminal's exact method. The officers on scene were stunned. They never imagined a retired detective could still be this sharp. Turns out, just a day earlier, the station received a call from the Golden Glory Asset Management Center. 4 thieves were stealing $500 million worth of crypto. Police rushed to the scene and ran into the robbers who were trying to slip away. The captain finally caught up, only to get brutally beaten. When he chased again, he saw the thieves leaping off from thousands of meters up. All he could do was watch them vanish. With everyone out of ideas, the female officer suddenly thought of her former boss, Jackie Chan. And unbelievably, with just one look, he spotted the flaw. And from a blurry photo alone, he identified the man as Shadow, a wanted fugitive who disappeared 20 years ago. He quickly assembled a tracking team and prepared to bring Shadow in. Hearing a knock at the door, the old man thought his daughter had returned. But when he opened it, he found an assassin instead. Fortunately, the old man reacted quickly and narrowly dodged the gunfire. Yet the killer showed no signs of stopping. The old man could only evade his attacks while searching for an opening. Meanwhile, the colleague monitoring the surveillance feed across the room remained oblivious. The footage had been replaced. Only when the girl from the surveillance footage appeared before them did they realize something was terribly wrong. It turned out the old man was an undercover cop on a deep cover mission. Though advanced in years, he skillfully dodged the assassin's lethal strikes thanks to decades of combat experience. Just then, the assassin's partner warned him police backup was approaching, forcing him to flee swiftly. By the time the old man's partner arrived, the assassin had vanished without a trace. But the matter wasn't over. The assassin was already planning his next assassination attempt. He took just one quick glance at the surveillance footage and instantly recognized the disguised suspect, even deducing the criminal's method with pinpoint accuracy. The officers around him were stunned. They never imagined this retired old cop could still be that sharp. Turns out, just the day before, the entire police force had been deployed to catch 4 robbers. But when they chased them into a hotel, the thieves vanished from the surveillance feed. It turned out the moment they entered, the robbers switched outfits immediately. Then they hacked into the hotel's system and shut down the cameras altogether. The officers were completely disoriented, forced to use body cams and AI scanning just to track any trace of them. That's when the captain suddenly remembered a distinct facial feature from one of the suspects. But every move the police made was being intercepted by the robbers' comms. The thieves instantly changed disguises again. They were finally spotted in the hotel's performance hall, dressed as cops, but the crowd was packed. There was no way to make an arrest. All they could do was watch the robbers slip away.
I just stepped out to grab breakfast, and when I returned, I found my daughter had driven off alone. It turned out she tracked down a fugitive she'd been pursuing for a week. Seeing the suspect get up to leave, she risked her own safety to hold him back. When I learned the suspect had figured out her identity, I was deeply worried. I could only rush over as fast as I could. When I arrived, I found her unconscious on the sofa, but thankfully, she wasn't in mortal danger. The suspect tried to escape through the back door, but hadn't anticipated I'd already sealed off the exit. He abandoned evasion and chose to confront me head-on. He'd once belonged to the most elite assassination squad within the Special Forces, skilled in close-quarters combat with daggers. I, however, had been part of the Special Investigation All-Purpose Unit, adept at utilizing terrain for guerrilla tactics. He excelled at offense, while I specialized in defense. We were evenly matched, neither gaining the upper hand, but he had a dagger. I could only evade and counterattack. Soon, I began to falter. At the critical moment, my daughter saved me, but also gave the suspect an opening to escape. Though I was gravely wounded, I had also severely injured the suspect. The rest was left to my teammates. I trust they will bring the suspect to justice.
My name is Huang Dezhong.
I was once the all-around champion among special reconnaissance soldiers. Now, I'm just a retired old man. One day, while walking my dog, my professional instincts alerted me that someone was following me. It turned out the police station had sent her to recruit me to hunt down a brazen gang of thieves. I spotted the thieves' flaw with just a glance and identified the suspects for them. The chief wanted me to come out of retirement to lead the operation, but I only intended to devise the plan and then leave. Before departing, however, I noticed that female officer seemed unhappy at the station. Her teammates dismissed her as too short and useless, but she was the daughter of my late comrade. Before my friend passed away, I promised to look after his daughter, so I resolved to help her regain her confidence and joy. I personally assembled a surveillance team and assigned her to work alongside me. We embarked on a lengthy undercover surveillance mission. Finally, we uncovered the suspect's whereabouts. The suspect had been a Special Forces operative with keen counter-surveillance skills. This mission required close-range verification of the suspect's identity. I decided to entrust this challenging task to her, but due to her inexperience, she was quickly detected by the suspect. Sensing danger, I rushed to her rescue. The suspect was already lying in wait. I arrived at the last moment before the elevator doors closed, diffusing the crisis just in time. Moreover, the camera, disguised as a rotten apple, captured clear footage of his face and residence details. Not only did we accomplish the mission flawlessly, but we also restored her confidence.
I deliberately flaunted my card-playing skills in front of the fugitive, simply to conceal the calluses on my palms, worn from years of gripping a gun. Seizing the chance, I invited him inside for dinner, aiming to probe for cracks beneath his disguise. For this, I made meticulous preparations. Facing interrogation, I remained perfectly composed, yet still failed to dispel his suspicions. He pulled out his phone, deliberately letting his accomplices copy his contacts, pretending everything was normal. The dinner had barely ended when the assassin burst through the door. Fortunately, I dodged the bullets in time. But the assassin was clearly prepared. Drawing on years of combat experience, I deflected each attack. My colleague in the next room sensed the danger and rushed over to assist. Meanwhile, the assassin's accomplices signaled a retreat. He picked up a gun from the floor and fired back, then fled at full speed. By the time my teammates arrived, the assassin had vanished. But he didn't stop there, immediately planning his next assassination attempt. The following evening, he lured me to the entrance of the police station. A truck suddenly burst out. Foreign mercenaries poured out and launched indiscriminate attacks. The station instantly became a battlefield. The mercenary leader spotted my dying form and ordered a full-scale pursuit. The final showdown erupted at the shooting range. Both sides were evenly matched, but I seized a gun first and killed them. Reinforcements arrived swiftly, leaving the criminals nowhere to run. This victory came at a heavy cost.
My children have betrayed me. They sent the elite assassins to put me to death, in this place where I raised them from infancy. The reason was that I exposed my whereabouts during a previous heist. But they didn't know I deliberately drew the police's attention to create an escape route for them. Yet they simply don't understand a father's love for them. Over a decade ago, I took in these wandering souls, raised them through hardship and toil. Yet now I can no longer control them, but they still underestimated me. The dagger is my most lethal weapon. What pains me most is that my beloved eldest son came personally to assassinate me. Every skill he wields was taught by my own hand. Now he turns them against me. When the cold blade pierced his body, my heart died in that instant. Seeing the bomb already planted in the corner, I understood everything. This was all my second son's plan. With great effort, I rose from the wreckage and let the police take me away. But I knew I couldn't just wait for death. I would make the traitors pay. When the officers weren't looking, I activated the smoke grenade beside one of them. Amidst the chaos, I took them down. I immediately infiltrated the airport and found my second son just as he was about to leave. I killed my own son with my own hands, but I feel no remorse, for he betrayed me. My name is Fu Longsheng, a man living in surveillance blind spots. Others call me the Shadow. In my youth, I survived by plundering. 10 years ago, I nearly fell into police hands. A group of children saved me. From then on, I adopted them. I raised them using special forces training methods. Now each has become an elite in their field. Stunt combat, disguise and transformation, hacking skills. Each excels in their own way. Yet as they matured, they slipped beyond my control. During a heist, they defied my orders.
全部铐走，不可以，没时间了，西蒙，很快，小心，快走了。1分钟，1分钟，没时间呐。
Failure to retreat promptly led to a police ambush. Fortunately, they escaped to the opposite hotel using parachutes, but the cops pursued relentlessly. I immediately changed outfits and rushed to the hotel to direct their escape. Thanks to prior preparations, I swiftly gained command of the situation. Methodically, I orchestrated their withdrawal. We changed disguises repeatedly. leading the police in circles. Finally, we escaped successfully. Back home, I vented my rage wildly, but the kids couldn't grasp my well-intentioned efforts.
我要我们都好好的活着。钱不是最重要的，自由才是。
Yet it was precisely this incident that exposed my true face. A seasoned cop quickly zeroed in on me. One evening, when that female officer appeared at the market, I recognized her instantly. She then followed me to the elevator entrance, confirming she was indeed a cop. Just as I prepared to silence her, an old man suddenly barged in.
干嘛？
我的话你听不听啊？
什么？
偷偷谈恋爱，被人发现了，你知不知道？
Though they worked together seamlessly, my years of fugitive instincts detected danger. Back home, I considered leaving for good, but couldn't bear abandoning the kids alone. I resolved to plan an escape route for them. The next day at the market, I deliberately tested the veteran cop, only to have him defuse every move. In the end, he even invited me to his home for dinner. I planned to play along and probe further. Simultaneously, I had my second son investigate the father-daughter pair's background. To my surprise, he reported no issues. That's when I realized I could no longer control them. Heartbroken, I shed tears. Ultimately, I decided to leave. Before departing, I wanted one last look at that familiar orphanage. Instead, it nearly became my final resting place. It turned out my second son had planned to eliminate me in the very place where I had raised them since childhood. Over a decade of father-son bonds ended in this betrayal, yet he still underestimated me. Having not wielded a blade in over 10 years, it was time to show them my true prowess. The dagger was my most mastered weapon.
老子是谁？
What pained me most was that my beloved eldest son had personally come to assassinate me. Every skill he possessed had been taught by my own hand. Now he turned them against me. As the cold blade pierced his body, my heart died in that instant. Meanwhile, the second son detonated the bomb he'd planted for me. When I struggled to rise from the rubble, I swore silently that the traitors would pay. I let the police take me away. In the patrol car, I seized the moment when the officers weren't looking and activated the smoke grenade beside them. Amidst their confusion, I swiftly took them down. I immediately infiltrated the airport, locating my second son just as he was about to depart. And so I embarked on the path of escape once more. But I had no cash on me, only the stolen cryptocurrency. I had no choice but to seek out local wealthy merchants to convert it. Yet all of this was under the control of that veteran cop. He found me quickly. I tried to flee, only to discover he had cut off my escape route. I had no choice but to fight. I was once the elite assassin of a Special Forces assassination squad, masters of close-quarters combat with daggers. He, however, was the champion of all-around special reconnaissance skills, expert at using terrain for guerrilla tactics. We were evenly matched, neither yielding. But with my dagger in hand, I forced him to constantly dodge and counterattack. Soon, he was at a disadvantage. Just as I was about to finish him off, that female officer saved him. Knowing I couldn't linger, I fled immediately. But the police had already set up a massive dragnet. There was nowhere left for me to run. Looking back, I've been on the run all these years. It wasn't until I met these kids that I finally felt like I had a home. I've always tried my hardest to give them the lives they wanted. I never imagined ending up like this.